as a UX designer, do I have to have my own artistic style?
Okay, good question again. Actually, it's interesting because when we mention about design, many people think it's related to style. But I personally think there's actually two major schools of thoughts in design. There are designers where you know that they have a specific style, like Philippe Starck or Alessi design, like some of these Italian designers, like in product design, for example. But I would say in user experience design, we are really in the camp of thought of being very human-centered and user-centered. And usually the design doesn't really reflect our own artistic personality. It's more to do with, is it reflecting the brand personality, or is it suitable for the end user? That's why we call it user-centered design. So when you study the gurus in our UX industry, you will see people like Donald Norman. He's from a psychology background. Alan Cooper, who wrote the book about personas, right? And Inmates of Running the Asylum is his book name. He's from a programming background. Tim Brown, IDEO, is industrial design background. And Elizabeth Sanders, who came out with the early versions of ethnography, using research to inform design. She has a psychology and anthropology background. And even Steve Jobs, I mean, he studied calligraphy, right? So he has an eye for typography. So you can see there are many different backgrounds who come into user experience. So it's not necessarily that you need to have your own style. And more often than not, you're actually collaborating with different disciplines. For example, in companies like, Facebook, Google, Airbnb, you always have to collaborate with business, marketing people, tech people. So it's always a team sport, and it's not the lone genius that has a specific style.
So what makes a design user-centered?
So a design, I think in the past, a lot of people might think, whether something is well designed or not is very subjective and based on personal opinion. But actually in our industry, there's a way to assess design. And there are three factors. On a high level, we say something is a good design if it's actually useful to the target audience that we're designing for. If it's usable, so it's about the usability, right? There are websites or apps where you fill in a lot of information and your information disappears. So that's not usable. And desirable is where the aesthetics part comes in, or if it's attractive enough for you to want to use it. So I would say it's useful, usable, and desirable. It's what makes user-centered design.